Well, if it isn't the People's Republic of Islington North, how are we feeling? Maybe we can do a little bit better than that. How are we doing, guys? And how are we feeling about electing Jeremy Corbyn as the independent MP for Islington North? Pretty good, pretty good. Hope, hope. That's what drives us. That's why we're here. Hope. A belief that a society as wealthy as this can solve all the injustices and challenges it has. That not a single child, not one, should grow up in poverty and hardship. That nobody should earn their poverty. That no one in this society should be in an overcrowded, rip-off home, subsidising private landlords. That this is a society where we can build a national health service that meets all of our needs. That we can have an education that builds the opportunities for the next generation. That we can take on a climate emergency and make it an opportunity. And that we don't have to be a country that arms nations committing genocide. Hope. Those are the sorts of beliefs that have driven Jeremy all his life. And when people were demonised, like Jeremy, for standing against apartheid South Africa, were they not vindicated? When Jeremy stood for LGBTQ rights, when people were demonised as the loony left, were people like Jeremy not vindicated? When those like Jeremy stood against the Iraq war, were they not vindicated? When Jeremy stood against austerity, was he not vindicated? And when Jeremy stood against the genocide in Gaza, will he not be vindicated again? Jeremy stood over and over again on the right side of history. And that's what makes all of us here campaign and fight to make sure he's re-elected. I won't dwell too much on our opponents, but I'll tell you this. If you're a Labour canvasser, and this short time we all have alive on Earth, and you've chosen to flood Islington North of all places, let's be honest, you're driven by one thing alone, and that's spite. Yep. That's the truth. But we have hope. We have hope. And I just want to end by saying this. We need people like Jeremy elected. Not just because he's been on the right side time and time again. But we've had a warning these last few days.
Yeah, we have.
We've had a warning that we should be grateful that we had advance notice of. That warning came from France. If you have a politics that comes to power, which doesn't stand up for the needs of the majority, which keeps the injustices that scar and define our societies in place, that ramps up the scapegoating of migrants and minorities and refugees, I tell you what you end up with fascism. And now we've got a slightly more charmless version of Macron about to take over. Look, I'm glad we've got the Conservatives out. The Conservatives are toast, and we should be glad of that. They have wrecked this country. But our objection with the Tories isn't simply about their personalities. Though, I mean, come on. We object to Tory policies. We want Tory policies out. And that's what this is about. We've got to make sure we have leaders in the next Parliament who stand up for the policies that this country needs. That we stand up for a living wage. That we have investment. That we tax the booming rich to invest in our NHS and our education. We take on the climate emergency. Hello. That we take on the climate emergency, and that we make sure we build a society run in the interests, to coin a phrase, of the many and not the few. That's what leaders like Jeremy will do. So let's take our hope and let's take our energy to every doorstep in Islington North. Are we all going to make sure we're knocking on doors? Yeah! Are we going to tell all of our friends and loved ones, random strangers in the streets, to do the same? Yeah! Are we going to be full of hope and optimism? Yeah! And are we going to commit that whatever happens next, we will fight in the coming years to build a new society running the interests of the many, not the few? Yeah! So still there. and get the amazing, incredible Jeremy re-elected as the independent MP for Islington North. Thank you.